Welcome back to Real Stories, Jennifer Lopez. The life of one of our favourite pop icons told through the stories of people that have known her, loved her and been cast aside by her unending quest for superstardom. Joining me in the cafe with their in-depth knowledge and, of course, celebrity acquaintances are the Sun's Gordon Smart and Moore's Abby Pethelus. So, if you've just joined us, you've missed Jen making it in Hollywood, getting married and divorced and signing a massive record deal with Sony. But don't worry about a thing, as on the way, fame explodes for Jen and she ramps up the man factor to a whole new level. But now, here's a question. What do you do when you're a dancer turned actress and you want to make it in the music game? Well, you get together with the hottest hip-hop producer in the world. That's what.
At the end of the 90s, hip-hop was defined by Puffy. Like, Bad Boy had such a lock on hip-hop, nothing was moving if it wasn't Bad Boy. Diddy gave her that, like, ghetto fabulous edge, baby. Brought the street to her, and from that, you know, redefined her.
Jen took style cues from her new man and the Latin siren became noticeably more street. Puffy helped Jen produce her debut album On the 6th and the lead single, If You Had My Love, hit the top spot in the Billboard charts. The album would go on to spawn 5 hit singles and go triple platinum, marking one of the most successful Hollywood crossovers in music history. As Jen and Puffy continued to make headlines wherever they went.
I think probably one of the highlights of that relationship, for better or for worse, is when she showed up at the Grammys wearing that gorgeous but very sexy and very showy green Versace dress. You know, a lot of people were like, whoa. Didn't know Jennifer Lopez before, want her on my wall now. You know, that's kind of what being with Diddy did.
Living inside the Puffy bubble may have put J.Lo posters on people's walls, but it meant she was hanging out with a different type of crowd. And one night at the turn of the millennium, it all got a little too serious.
They got involved at some crazy party that happened in New York. There was, you know, this nightclub shooting, and it ended where they both fled the scene and they ended up spending the night, you know, in a jail. The officers were very kind to Jennifer Lopez. Puffy subsequently had to face gun charges, and their relationship diminished after that.
Suddenly they're in a different world right now, and J.Lo, you know, from flirting with the street, suddenly finds herself deep in it. She was managed by a guy called Benny Medina. Yo, Diddy ain't doing your career any good. And she hit the eject button.
Once Jennifer talked about her relationship with Sean, you know, she said the main issue actually wasn't the gun charge and the subsequent trial. The main issue is that she couldn't trust him. She always felt that he was cheating on her. She just did not like the woman she was becoming, which she at one point described showing up at hotels and knocking door to door to see if she could bust him with a woman. So she did not like who she had become when she was with Sean.
So trust seems to be a huge issue for Jen, but Abby, from what we've seen, how would you describe her relationship with men in general?
Well, she's a bit of a romantic, is Jen, which makes her vulnerable to men like Diddy, because she kind of gives her all and opens up her heart and lets herself get in situations where maybe he was cheating on her and she was sort of turning a blind eye. And also, I think she's in love with the idea of being in love. And what's quite interesting is she's barely put her foot wrong career-wise so far, and yet she's disastrous when it comes to men.
Gordon, from your point of view, Jen being with Puffy, are the fan base, is that going to increase because she's with one of the biggest hip-hop stars in the world, or do you think people are going to be a little bit bewildered by all the goings-on that they're reading about?
It's an interesting one. It was a bit of both, because at that time she was probably part of the biggest celebrity relationship in the world. Now, what he did do was introduce her to a global audience, which was massive. And that's what made her a front-page story in America. She couldn't go anywhere with him without being on the front covers. But at the same time, you know, one thing he did teach her was how to be a brand. And when the bad stuff started happening, it really did affect her brand. And look, as a serious businesswoman, she decided that was time to get out of it.
OK, I promised you that Jen would be ramping up the man factor, and so here we go. If you're not sitting down, do it right now. 3 men, 1 restaurant. There's only going to be 1 winner. Early in 2001, J.Lo becomes the first person to have a #1 film and a #1 album in the same week, confirming her as the biggest star on the planet. It's out with the high-profile Puffy and in with low-profile backing dancer Chris Judd.
What? An elaborate wedding follows at Jen's Beverly Hills mansion, where she reportedly has 10,000 rosebuds delivered to scent the air around the bridal walkway, and everyone is signed to secrecy. Shh. Brand Lopez grows even bigger as second album J.Lo goes triple platinum, and she decides to go into the restaurant business, strangely choosing her ex-husband to run the show.
Her dad came to me on my place, and he says, you know what, she's looking to open, a restaurant in Pasadena, and they want you to be the GM. I was like, wow, I'm totally happy. I'll be more happy to do it.
She launches a clothing line, fragrances and cosmetics. Now you can look and smell like J.Lo, ladies. But guys, you can't be with her because she's married, right? Unless that is you're Ben Affleck. Shortly after filming with Jen on Geely, Affleck dedicates a double-page ad to Lopez in The Hollywood Reporter.
So in 2002, Ben Affleck took out an ad in The Hollywood Reporter to congratulate Jennifer Lopez on winning an award at Show West. Congratulatory ads are something that a lot of people do to say, hey, congratulations on winning this award or that award. It was unusual because they just had worked on a movie together. I don't believe at that time they actually were in a relationship. So the fact that he would take an ad out like that in such a visible way, to 30,000 people in the industry, was very high profile because it was from him personally, and they just worked together on one film. It was a little unusual. He paid for the ad out of his own pocket. The ad was something like $2,500, and we helped him to put the ad together. But he gave us the copy, and it basically was from his heart.
Weeks later, Ben shows up at the launch of Jen's new restaurant Mad Ray's in Pasadena, managed by her first husband Ohani Noah, and where she and husband Chris Judd are guests of honour. Messy.
She was married with Chris Judd, and and it was so sad to say it, but they were like married, but they were going through divorce because now she was kind of seeing Ben Affleck. And it was totally, to me, I felt like I was, oh my God, I'm sitting here and working in this place. I feel like this is a triangle, a love triangle, because it's like me working in the opening night. Chris is there, holding hands, walking the red carpet with her, and then Ben Affleck show up with a bouquet of flowers and the red carpet. And I'm standing there by the media. I'm like, oh my God, I cannot see this stuff. And it was packed. It was like 200 people. It was a great opening night. It was very, very nice. But you could feel the tension there, because it's like, Benny from one corner, she's like here with another corner. Chris, I know Chris for a while now, and Chris is a good guy, and I knew what's happening, but I never really want to say anything because I'm there, doing my job. So I was like, as long as I'm getting paid, my paycheck, I'm not gonna say anything. I don't care. But I knew the whole situation, and I feel sad that he went through all the stuff, because I went through the same thing.
It would seem the writing's on the wall for Judd.
Triangle of love. 3 men enter, only one can leave with the maiden's heart. But seriously, all jokes aside, Ben Affleck, what's going on? Gordon, he's risking it there slightly, isn't he? Turning up where he knows he's going to be photographed heavily, and he's got a bouquet of flowers for the already married hostess of the restaurant.
Listen, taste had gone out the window by this point. He was putting in adverts in magazines and all the rest of it. It was desperation in my book.
Abby, do you think this is quite cute? Ben Affleck's a handsome man back in the day, as it were, and he's got the flowers and he's taken out the little love letter.
Poor old Chris Judd, that's what I think. J.Lo is never solo for very long, is she? And
no, she doesn't have trouble getting men.
She just leapfrogs from one to the next to the next. And, maybe that's part of her appeal. Like, Diddy and Ben, they both pursued her, and she was with other people at the time, and men like what they can't have, don't they? So, maybe that's part of the attraction. She's not available. They want her.
Gordon, J.Lo is now, she's not so much a woman anymore, she's become a whole brand. How would you go about describing her empire?
Well, it's very similar to the P. Diddy situation, isn't it? If you look at her success as well, it's very much based around the commercial success of her other brands. Yeah. Watch her latest video, and you've got car manufacturers in their clothes and perfume.
Her empire is truly massive. I don't know if you agree, but even here in the calf, you can sense a slight whiff of J.Lo's glow. Well, the moment when the tabloid world that Gordon lives in turned upside down is next. It's the moment when two huge celebrities became one brand for the first time. Bennifer.
I ain't never met a man like that. No.
In the summer of 2002, Latina superstar J.Lo and Matt Damon's best friend Ben Affleck fused to create an all-conquering mega celebrity couple that would become known as Bennifer. The one-named mega couple would set a trend to be followed by the likes of Tomcat and Brangelina, creating a whole new breed of two-headed tabloid beasts. The couple would attempt to keep their relationship under wraps as the paparazzi chased them all over the US for the summer. While Jen was filming with Ralph Fiennes in Central Park for Made in Manhattan, Ben would camp out in her trailer for days. The couple even reportedly hired a Ben-alike to throw the paps off the scent as they tried to conceal their relationship. But everybody on set knew what was going on.
She was dating him. She was dating Ben Affleck at the time. Everybody knew that they were together. He was on set with her. But then again, she had everybody there. Her ex-husband, Chris Judd, was there one day. In fact, the scene where her and Rafe come back to the party, from the party, and he, throws it back on the bed and whatever. Chris was on set right then. For some reason, I don't know why she chose for her ex-husband to be there, but he was. And Puffy was there another day when they were doing another scene. Like, she had everybody there.
What many commentators saw as an unlikely couple became the most talked about twosome in the world for little over a year. Ben proposed and a wedding date was set for September 2003.
When she and Ben Affleck got engaged, her ex-boyfriend, Sean Combs, sent them an engagement present, and the engagement present was a brand new Bentley. Everybody was wondering, what would you buy your ex-girlfriend who coincidentally left you while you were on trial for a gun charge? Such an expensive car. And I think, once you kind of step back from it and thought about it, she actually probably is a really good and decent person, and he probably felt like a little bit of a jerk for kind of putting her through what he put her through, and that was his apology.
Bennifer continued to be the biggest tabloid story going as the wedding date came near. They kissed in public, Jen wrote the song Dear Ben about him, and everything seemed perfect. But the hysterical press attention put pressure on their relationship. And after a torrent of awful reviews for their film J.Lo, and having postponed the wedding day once already, the couple split and Jen was heartbroken.
It's just dawned on me who the winner is in all of this. It's the boyfriend of J.Lo's body double. All of the good bits, but with eye contact. Now, with all the Brangelinas and Tomcats and even your Jedwoods that we have nowadays, it's easy to forget that Bennifer were blazing a trail for the first single-named mega couple. Gordon, what was it like in the newsroom when this story came in?
Well, in the UK, we had Posh and Becks at the time, who were probably at the peak of their powers.
Posh and Becks.
Remember
Rings
them?
a bell, yeah.
But in America, there was no bigger story. And at the time, I've got contacts at Us Weekly, and they said they would have paid $1 million for an exclusive picture at that time of the couple. They had teams working around the clock, following them around. They were a huge, huge story. I think Ben Affleck was quite keen at that point in his career to sort of make as much as he could of that relationship, because at that point he was still Matt Damon's mate, wasn't he?
Yeah, OK, thanks for that. I suppose you're right. So, viewers, in this chapter we've covered Jen's platinum-selling success, her many men, empire building, and the good and the bad sides of attention from the likes of Mr. Smart over there. On the way in part 4, another Latin lover, a family life and a massive comeback. The final part of Real Stories Jennifer Lopez will be back here in just a couple of minutes.